Hello traders, welcome back to another episode of Greenback Riders where we will be looking at what are the expectations for tomorrow, what are the support and resistance areas that we have created for tomorrow, and tomorrow being the 23rd of October 2024. As always, before starting the video, if you like the content of these videos, please like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel and click on the notification icon. Also, as I mentioned yesterday, we will be having a session on Dow theory on Google Meet on the next Sunday, which is the 27th of October. If you want to join that, the link to that is given in the description below. Along with that, you will also find the link to all the read-only charts that we will be discussing right now. And you will also find the link to our free Discord server and the Facebook page, and you are very welcome to join there. Let us now get back to the monthly chart. So the monthly chart looks absolutely similar to what we had of yesterday. We came down to the 66.25 line again. Today we went below that, but we could not hold it, and then the bulls got 40 points to the upside. So there is no change on the monthly chart as of now. This still stays the high of the month, this still stays the monthly wedge, and we still have the monthly targets up here. We are just in a tight trading range at this point of time between the 66 and the 04 to the 07 area, the 5866 to the 5904 to the 07 area. We have to break out of that. Again, we have to break out of that double top that we had at the 5915.5 area. Then we will see if we are able to get above the all-time high, and then we can get to the targets to the upside. On the downside again, this 5833 will continue to be the support. The next support will be between 5815 and 5810. And if we break these areas down, it is possible that we can come down to the 5722 areas as well. But as long as the 5866 or the 5850 to 46 areas are not broken down, these plays will not be possible. So at this point of time, that is all the information that we have on the monthly chart. Let us now move on to the weekly chart. Now, looking at the weekly chart, we are still within that trading range. The top part of the trading range is from 5915 to the 5888 area, and the second part is from 5888 to the 5860 or the 61 area. So these are the two tiered trading ranges that we have right now. So we came to the bottom of it, we came to the 88 line, we crossed above it, we went to the 5904 area and then dropped down again, and finally we are here at the 588 line again. So at this point of time, the weekly chart is in a complete trading range with the lows and the highs being defined at 5915 and 5861 or the 60 area. So if we are breaking this down, the next support on the weekly chart will be at the 5849, which will be the trend line support on the weekly chart at this point of time. If we are breaking down this 5850 area, the next area of support is between 5831 and 5823, and 5830 being the support that we have on the monthly chart as well. And below that, if we are breaking that down, we can come to this 5808 line as well. And if we are breaking down the 5808, we can even break down the 5800 and then keep coming down. However, those trades are only possible once we have broken down the 5850 area, the 5846 area, and then the price is continuing to come down strong from there. That is the time we will try to see whether we are getting to the 30 to the 22 area and beyond that. On the upside again, we'll have to break out of this 5915 area. We have to get to this 5926. We know that we have the weekly wedge at 5926. However, if we are breaking out of this, we know that we have the weekly target to the upside. But there will be some more minor resistance areas in between here, and we will see how the price is acting up there. And we have those areas marked on the 5-minute time frame as well. Apart from that, there is no other information on the weekly time frame as well. Let us now take a look at the daily chart. Now, looking at the daily chart at this point of time, after we had this new high or the all-time high, this was an inside bar that got created. We came down below the inside bar, thereby creating the first entry short. And then we came down here again. This is again the first entry short because we have not taken the highs of any of the previous bars. However, we also need to remember that on the daily chart, this is the first entry long again. And if we are getting above the 5904 area tomorrow, that will create the second entry long. There must be bullish orders which are present here right now, and they will try to get the price to the 591415 area once again. After we break out of that, we will try to see whether we are able to get the 5927 areas. The next area of resistance at this point of time on the daily chart is at this particular wedge, which is at 5953. So I am thinking that if we are getting above this area 5916 or the 5915 pretty strong, and we are able to get above this all-time high, there is a possibility that we will come to these areas sometime tomorrow, provided that the market does not decide to dump below this 61 area and below this 51 area. So that is something that we will have to take a look at what is happening on the lower time frame charts on the 4 hours and the 1 hour, and then we can come tomorrow morning to decide what can be the trading plan for the day. On the downside again, this 5876.25, this has been working as a minor support and resistance area, and this may continue to do that. Below the 5876, we have the 5871 line as well, and below that we can come to the 5865 to the 61 region once again. If we are failing that, then we will come down to this box, and below this particular box, if we get down below this double bottom at 5850, we can and then break down the 4546 area, we will find ourselves somewhere in the 5836 to the 31 area, failing which we will continue to come down to 19 and then to the subsequent levels on the downside. Also, it is worthwhile to note at this point of time that we are still within this mother bars range, right? So we will have to break out of this mother bars range at 5918.5, and once we break out of that, the 1:1 of this particular mother bar, if we are doing it on a conservative basis just based on the body, should be able to bring us to the 597374 areas to the upside. However, in order to reach that 5973 area, we'll have to get above this wedge resistance, and then we will see if we are able to touch that line and go farther up to the 84 area, or maybe to the 5997 area, which we were talking about yesterday as well. So overall, that is what we have on the daily chart. Nothing major is changing because we are moving around in the same range at this point of time. So having said that about the daily chart, let us now look at the intraday 4-hour chart. So on the 4-hour chart today, we came to this support line back again. We did not touch the support line and we started bouncing up. However, after this new low was created, this is just the first entry long on the 4-hour chart. So now we will have to see if the price comes back, and then overnight or by tomorrow morning we are getting another second entry long here, and then the price can actually move back up to the 5914 area, and then we can break out of this 5914 area, get to the 5928 area, which is the 2728 area, which is the current all-time high. Above that we can touch and hit this wedge line. After that we may come and touch this wedge line at some point of time. We do not know at what point it will come up here, and based on that we will see at what level the price is. So if the price is around the 3940 area and it starts to dump below, we will see that if we are getting 2 to 3 legs to the downside, and we will try to see that if the previous all-time high is holding. If the previous all-time high is holding, at that point of time we will try and see that if the price is bouncing back up again, doing a third touch on this wedge line, breaking out of it and getting to the levels on the upside once again. On the downside again, after this new high was created on the 4-hour chart, we had this first leg that came down, we had a pullback to the upside, and then we had the second leg down. So we have done 3 legs down on the downside at this point of time, considering that this break of this particular inside bar was also also another leg to the downside. So we have done 3 legs to the downside. We are in this particular trading range at this point of time, so we cannot deny that fact, right? We are in this particular trading range. This is the first tier of the trading range, and the second tier of the trading range is right below that. I will keep these two trading ranges marked here at this point of time. I will mark it in a different color so that it is easier to understand. So we'll have to see that whether we are breaking out of this trading range, getting out of this 27 and trying to reach the areas on the upside, or whether we are coming down to this 5453 level, breaking down the 50 level and continue to come down to the 38 to the 35 area, and then to the 5830 area, which will be another major support line. If we are failing this, there will be another 10-point drop to the 2120 area, and then subsequently we can come down to the 5812 or the 15 area, and then we will see if we are getting to the lower 5800s and trying to break 5800 altogether. However, on the downside, we also need to remember that we do have these wedge lines that have been created. So now we need to see if the price comes down here, whether it is bouncing from the wedge line. We did bounce from this particular wedge line today, and that is why I am thinking that if we are getting a second entry long on the 4-hour chart, and if that is strong, it should be able to take us up further above the current all-time high. So apart from that, we are in this particular trading range. There is nothing else we can see here at this point of time. So on the 4-hour chart, or this upper part of the trading range, we try to break it out once, we try to break it out twice, we try to break it out thrice. Now we will see if we are coming up back here again, and if the fourth time we are successful and the price actually goes back up, or the fourth time we actually fail and the price will come down here to the 5860 once again, and after that we will see whether the price can go up there for the fifth time and finally break out of that particular area. I would also keep this particular trend line on the 4-hour chart, which is almost like a channel line which is parallel to this, but it is not exactly parallel. But for the second entry long on the 4-hour chart, I would like to see the price above this particular trend line. Then we get a follow through, and then even if we have a pullback, I'm expecting that the price should be able to get us to the upside. So that is all the details that we have on the 4-hour chart right now. Let us now go and take a look at the 1-hour chart. Now, looking at the 1 hour chart, after we had this new low created, we had this first entry long, we had the second entry long. So we had the two legs to the upside. This was where the day ended yesterday, and then after that we had that first leg down. We went back up by one tick above this particular bar, and then we had the second leg down. We went back up again, and we were moving sideways, and then we had the three legs, and finally the fourth leg down, and also a fifth leg down finally. And if you look at this, this was the first touch. We tried to break this out, we failed. This was the second touch or the third touch, and we had the fourth and the fifth touch here as well. Now if you look at this, this is an expanding triangle that we have, and the center of the expanding triangle is exactly this particular bar, which is between 5889 and 5884. So whenever we are falling below the 5884, we are coming down to these areas. Whenever we are getting above the 5884, we are trying to get above the 5900, the 5904, and we will see if we are able to get back to the 5907 once again. Now after this new low got created this morning, this was a micro channel that we had. If we take this double bottom as one more leg, then we had two legs to the upside, and now we have the leg one down. We had an inside bar again, and we have started the second leg to the downside. Now tomorrow morning we will have to come back and see how far the second leg has gone, or if the second leg has actually broken down this particular hourly candle, which is at 5889 to 5884, or it is staying above that, and based on the 4 hour chart we are getting signals that the price may actually move upside. It is also possible that we had this two strong bars close above the hourly EMA. We can come down to the bottom of this at 5884, where the current hourly EMA is, touch the hourly EMA, and then start one more leg to the upside. But the interesting fact to see is that this 5864.5, which was the low of yesterday, has not been able to be broken down. We did come down below that, but we could not close any single bar below this, and we kept on going higher. Now this 5901.25 is also acting up to be a very important area, the 202 to the 01 area. And if we have to see that we are breaking out of this particular line, and then only we will be able to see that whether we are getting up to the 17 to the 14 and subsequently to the levels on the upside. We do have this expanding triangle as well as this particular trend line. So we will have to see if we are breaking out both of these and then try to take the price higher. However, what I'm thinking is the first touch on these two particular wedge lines after all these touches will be around the 38 to the 40 area on the upside, and if we can break out of this, we can get to the 50 measured move. Now on the 1 hour chart also we do have this trend line, which is very similar to the 4 hour trend line, and as we mentioned earlier, I would like to see that the 4 hour second entry long is above this particular trend line, or the follow through at least is above this particular trend line, so that will actually give us confidence that the price can actually move higher. So those are all the details that we have on the 1 hour chart. We will now take a look at the 5 minute chart. Before going to the 5 minute chart, based on all these analysis, we will come back tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST to decide on the pre-market plan. If you want to join that particular call, the link to the Google Meet is given in the description below. Now, looking at the 5 minute chart, we did break out today above this particular micro gap that we had, the bearish micro gap, but we did not get any follow through and we came back down. We came back to this micro gap once again with a three-legged move, but then we failed again and we have come down. So now we will have to see, this is the first leg down. Maybe it is creating another trading range in this area, a very small trading range between 58.99 and 5888. We may open up again between these areas tomorrow morning. Then we will have to see whether we are taking out this low or we are taking out this high and we are moving up to the upside. As long as the 88 area will not be broken down, it may not be possible for the bears to take the price farther down. But if you look at this, this is the first leg down that happened here. We went back up. This is the second leg down that happened. We did a double top here and we had a third leg down. So these are the three-legged move that we had on this area. Now while we came back up, we came up to the 50% line of this particular bar, and then we are starting to drop again. This was the first leg down and this was an inside bar, so we are having a second leg down. Tomorrow morning, if we are opening up exactly in this region, we will see whether we are able to get a 3 or 4 legs down, and then a reversal may start again, take out these highs and keep going up to the upside. Support and resistance areas on the 5 minute chart are not changing at this point of time because we are still in the same ranges, and the support and resistance area still remains to be the same. We just need to remember that the 64 to the 62.25 area, these area might have bulls once again, because we bounce from here. If we come down to these boxes again and the price starts to bounce again, we can actually get long from here again and try to see if we are trying to get back up to the top of this particular trading range. This was the trend line that we had today. We have tried to break this trend line here. We have tried to break this trend line here at the end of the day. So tomorrow morning, we will have to see whether we are opening above this trend line, above the EMA, or we are below this trend line and we are trying to take the price further. If the price wants to go down further, then at that point of time, we can see ourselves getting back again to the 5874 areas. And if we are getting down from the 5874 areas, we can come down to this 5866 further down. If we are breaking down the 5866, the next support will be at the 5854 to the 52 area. And after that, this 45 to 46 area will provide the next major support. If we are breaking this down, the next major support happens at the 5840 to the 38 area, followed by the 34 area, and then we can come down to the 5822 and the subsequent levels to the downside. Now, if this is the total trading range that we are having, and if we are trying to break down the trading range sometime tomorrow, and we are trying to get down below that, and we are trying to get a 1:1 of that, then the market will be able to bring the price to the 5815.25 level, which will be the 1:1 of this whole move to the downside. Similarly, if we are trying to get back up, the 1:1 of this particular trading range to the upside happens to be at the 5969 level, which is also coherent with the 5876 area that we have as a target on the upside. So that is all the analysis that I have for now. As said earlier, we will be back again tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST for the pre-market call. I will end this video here right now, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of the night, everyone. Bye.